What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Generation Y Conservative Show with your host, me, Chris Ford. Listen, this half hour is actually brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Do you believe in abortion? Do you want sanctuary cities? Well, listen, if not, why are you supporting these efforts with your cell phone? What do you mean by that, right? What's going on? Well, Big Mobile has given millions of dollars of your money to these causes when you pay your cell phone bill. That's why conservatives created Patriot Mobile. Veterans, by the way. To give you a choice to stop supporting things that you don't believe in. It's easy to switch to Patriot Mobile. You get the same reliable nationwide service and unlimited talk and text with plans starting as low as $25. And each bill you pay supports your values. Need more motivation than that? Well, mention the Generation Y Conservative when you call 1-800-A-PATRIOT or visit them online at patriotmobile.com/mojo50 to get your activation fee waived. You can make a difference, but only you can make the switch. Call 1-800-A-PATRIOT or visit patriotmobile.com/mojo50. Listen, this half hour is also brought to you by Nostalgia. It is springtime, so we are getting ready to grill, ladies and gentlemen. Mainly guys, right? That's grilling season for you guys to get your beer on and put it out on the grill and get things going. Well, Nostalgia has you covered. Nostalgia Grilling Sampler Pack is on sale and a perfect gift for kicking up your grilling skills. Use the code GRILL10 at mojowildrice.com or spoonywildrice.com to save 10% on the grilling sampler pack. What comes in the sampler pack? Well, get excited. It includes our salt-free garlic and herb seasoning for meats, vegetables, or potatoes and can be used as a dry or oil rub. Oh, dang. Sounds awesome. The Northwoods Jerk Season is for some awesome flavor on pork, salmon, or chicken, either dry or oil rubbed. You can use this raspberry wine jelly as a delicious base for marinades or dipping sauces or brush directly right on the meats. There's a sweet heat of jalapeno pepper jam is perfect as a marinade brushed on at the grill or served on the side as a dip. You can even add it to your own barbecue sauce for some super flavor. That sounds incredible. My mouth's starting to water, actually. Or you can add their maple sugar to your wet or dry rub before grilling for great caramelization on any grilled meat. And everyone will love the wonderful dark richness of the stout beer jelly in your burger mixture with some Gouda cheese. It can also be used as a grilling sauce or marinade for a delicious flavor on any meat. Make the most of your grilling season and save 10% when you use the promo code GRILL10 at mojowildrice.com or again, spoonywildrice.com. Don't forget this great gift for Father's Day. This is the Generation Y Conservative Show. Hey everyone, welcome to the Generation Y Conservative Show. I'm glad that you could join me tonight. Listen, we're going to start off with some entertainment topics, get into a couple things in regards to politics later. We kind of build up. We're going to be talking about guns as well. Not only things that happen with school shootings, but also we have our little promo thing that we go between, doing the firearm spotlight reviews with Relic Hunter Firing Line, a local gun range around here, and a store, and we have that coming up shortly. But there's a lot of things going on, and obviously I want to start off with entertainment tonight. Now, I wasn't with you guys last week. I had a little business trip that I had to do, but if you missed it, there's a little movie that was released called The Avengers Endgame. Now, I'm still working on putting together the review for that without it being a spoiler-filled review. It's probably going to be extremely short because you can't really say too much about it without giving a lot of stuff away. What I will say is it was a love letter to Marvel fans and superhero fans, and I thought that it wrapped up things really nicely for the first big Marvel phase and everything. But when we talk about spoilers, you gotta really be careful what you mention to people. And one of those things in regards to mentioning is it's probably not a great idea to walk outside of a theater on opening night and scream spoilers to a crowd that's waiting to get in to see the massive movie and what happens to everything. Well, a guy in Hong Kong actually found that out the hard way when he was beaten up for giving away Avengers Endgame spoilers. And I have to say, I mean, guy had it, kind of had it coming, guy. All right, you don't walk out of the theater when you have a super fan base like that. The thing is already one of the top grossing movies of all time, and you're gonna go outside and not expect to have something happen to you when you give away spoilers. Now, I'm not saying, as a host here, that I condone violence. I'm just saying. Let's move on to the next topic. That's what I'm saying. Listen. Speaking of Marvel, I had a good laugh over this one. This is according to Trinikid, I guess is the website here. It says a new petition asks Marvel to replace Brie Larson as Captain Marvel with a gay woman of color. It's a petition going for that. Now, that is one movie that I meant to review as well. Man, I'm falling behind on movie reviews now that I look at it. And I didn't get into it, and there was a lot of controversy surrounding the Captain Marvel movie, especially because of the fact that Brie Larson was really interjecting herself a lot into what was going on and kind of the promotional tour and talking about feminism, and that was a women empowerment movie. And she was saying all this crazy stuff, and then the Rotten Tomatoes, I don't know if you saw that, the Rotten Tomatoes score was so bad prior to the movie release that they had to rework their system of how that actually scored movies and everything. But people were just getting fed up with all the social justice warrior stuff surrounding Captain Marvel and what was going into it. But what's really fascinating, and the reason why I think that this article is so funny, actually. I'm laughing at it. I think this could be a great thing. Is that Brie Larson was one of these big social justice warrior Marvel characters off screen, promoting all this junk, and to go along with Scarlett Johansson, who plays Bruce Jenner, Mark Ruffalo, Chris Evans that plays Captain America, and there's a couple other people in there that just off screen just are like nails on a chalkboard. We get it. We get your positions. You're using your spotlight and podium to not promote movies, but to promote your own political ideas and everything. And we're just getting sick of it. You know what I mean? But in this case, Brie Larson has actually advocated that Marvel and other movies need to move faster in introducing gay characters. So what does this petition do? Well, let's jump back and actually compare it to a political scene right now, because when you look at, let's compare it to Trump. It sounds like a really odd comparison, right? But when you think about Trump and the sanctuary city situation with illegal immigrants, right? The California, the New Yorks, the Chicagos, all these places that not only have sanctuary cities, but sanctuary states. Oh, we're welcoming of illegal aliens and immigrants and everything across the border. We need to take care of these people and everything. And then Trump says, okay, then anytime we catch these people illegally in the country, instead of shipping them back across the border because you're getting really mad at us for that, what we'll do is we'll ship them right into your cities where you are welcoming them with open arms. And then all of a sudden the Democrats were like, whoa, Trump is being a bit drastic here. We can't handle all these people coming into an influx in our cities and everything. How dare he go out and say something like that? Well, you're the ones that have been saying all along that you're welcoming with open arms. Okay, well, let's jump over to the entertainment industry here for a second with that type of hypocrisy, right? And look at Brie Larson and her talking about the Captain Marvel character that she plays. In this case, as an actress, she has been advocating for more social justice warrior things. Not only Not only are they trying to now replace her, sign a petition to replace her with a gay character, but also a color character of color as well. So, a gay character of color, a woman of color, of course. So it has to be those three things: in the LGBT community, a woman, and one of color. Right? We have to check all the boxes as much as possible, just to make sure that we have covered every single one of our places here. And if nothing else, maybe we should add to the fact that there's like I know this is the DC universe and everything, but maybe there's like a Shazam transformation, that when she's not a superhero, she's also a gay woman of color in a wheelchair who can't physically walk around until she powers up and becomes a superhero. Maybe we could throw that disability in there too, just to really spice things up, like the nostalgia stuff we were talking about earlier, if you know what I'm saying. But it's just amazing to me that the person who's advocating for, right, the Democrats in the sanctuary cities, advocating for the illegal immigrants, now we have the character itself advocating for more gay characters and everything, or women of color specifically, because they could make her character a gay character in the movies and everything. But a woman of color, let's say, right, that they want to replace her with the exact type of character that she is asking for. Well, that would kick her out of the Marvel universe. Maybe at this point, after all the stuff grief that she's been getting, it might be something to actually go through with and maybe help her out with her acting career. Now, as far as Captain Marvel is concerned, there was a lot of controversy surrounding the first movie and all the feminist messages apparently in it, and that the storyline itself was muddied and horrible and everything else. I gotta be honest with you, I found the movie to be fun. I did roll my eyes at a couple scenes, but I think what a lot of people were missing is that we were so far into the Marvel universe that we tend to forget that characters need that introductory kind of movie to set up their characters and everything, and that's exactly what this was. So it was kind of narrowed down in scope to make it an origin story for her, and I found it to be fun. But I did also find that the twists and turns were predictable, mainly because of the one character on her original team turns out to be a bad guy in one of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies that came out prior to her movie coming out. So you kind of knew that something was wrong on her team to begin with. So immediately you're thinking to yourself, okay, wait, that's a bad guy in the other movies, so he must be a bad guy in this one too, which means that the bad guys they're fighting are probably good guys. And it's just like, come on. You know, there were a lot of funny scenes. I do have to say that Brie Larson, I was hoping that maybe the directors, the Russo brothers, would take hold of her character and spice her up a little bit with a little bit more personality. But she comes off as a stale, kind of unvibrant, moody, arrogant character in both movies. So I'm hoping, and I don't want to blame Brie Larson for that, because I don't know if that's necessarily her or the type of character that they wrote for, but I think that they can have more fun with the character and make it more I think that there may be an opportunity for them to have a Thor transition type thing, right? Let's be careful on how we use that transition word for Thor. Thor was very serious and Shakespearean in how he talked and everything, right, at first. And then by the time we hit Thor Ragnarok, he turned into a hilarious, fun person to watch on screen. And I think it was because they loosened up the character a little bit, which is exactly what they need to do with Brie Larson here. I'm not saying get rid of her. I think that there's still opportunity to mold her character into something more fun and everything. But I know Marvel's already talking about introducing a gay superhero character. And to be very honest with you, if these franchises like Marvel, the Marvel Universe, continues to pump out movies that cater to and mold to the wills of the social justice warrior crowd, they're going to find themselves losing a lot of money, because they're listening to a segment or a percentage of the population that's speaking louder than everyone else. Whereas the comic book fans want as much as possible for them to stick to the original comics and stick with those characters. you are not entertaining a new base of moviegoers. You should be catering to the comic book fans, because if you get them excited, that's the base. That's the base that you need to please, and then from there you work on other people. And shoehorning these kinds of characters in is just not good for anyone. Now, speaking of films and film companies and everything, we kind of touched on a Georgia Democrat that was against the heartbeat bill, and what he said, and we're going to be getting into that a little bit later. But this is according to The Blaze. It says, film companies begin boycotting Georgia over pro-life heartbeat abortion ban, right? So it says, backlash against the state of Georgia has begun as two production companies have vowed to not film any productions, two production companies, in Georgia while the pro-life heartbeat abortion ban is in force, according to The Hill. Blown Deadline, a company owned by David Simon, who created HBO's The Wire and The Deuce, will no longer consider Georgia as an option for filming. Killer Films CEO Christine Vachon also announced that her company would not film in Georgia unless the law was overturned. Can only speak for my production company, Simon tweeted. Our comparative assessments of locations for upcoming development will pull Georgia off the list until we can be assured the health options and civil liberties of our female colleagues are unimpaired. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, we're talking about two film companies, okay? One of which I've never heard of, and they didn't even mention. Now, the first one, Blown Deadline, HBO's The Wire and The Deuce. Okay, big names on the credits for them, right? But Killer Films, I don't know. Maybe it's horror films or something like that, which, by the way, they released a trailer for it too, and it looks awesome. Big fan of the first one. But here's what I will say about this. Who the hell cares, right? If their method of attack in defeating what Georgia is doing is by pulling their filming crews out of Georgia and not using them, then I say so be it, right? Their excuse is women's reproductive rights or something like that, which, please define that, right? I think Matt Walsh said it best recently at one of the rallies that if the baby is in the womb, the reproduction has already occurred. So we're not really talking about reproductive rights at this point, right? You have the right to reproduce, right? It's just, you're past that point at this point. But on the other end of the argument is we're saving babies' lives. And that's a pretty darn good argument to have as far as what was going on there, right? Would you rather save babies' lives or have film companies in your state? That's like one of those justice scales types things, right? I mean, it's a tough question and it needs to be answered. And I hope that the answer is that we actually care more about babies' lives than someone who has a stick up their rear end about trying to save babies' lives and bringing your business elsewhere. But listen, we do live in a free country. You're able to take that elsewhere. Wouldn't it be a shame if under a government mandated and nationalized system where everything was mandated by the government, if you were forced as a film production company to produce films in Georgia, whether they agreed with your beliefs or not? Well, I guess you get the idea of where we feel most of the time on some of the issues that we deal with. How about this one? Breaking away a little bit. Ew. Speaking of breakouts, this is a report according to on the Daily Wire. This one comes from. Headline is report: Coachella attendees suffer massive, in quotations, herpes outbreak. Well, get ready for that one. Apparently, there's a herpes tracking app called Herp Alert. And it's reporting a massive outbreak of the sexually transmitted disease in California, which they believe to be associated with the Coachella Music Festival. Not surprised, a bunch of free-loving hippies, right? Local media reports that Herp Alert, which allows users of the app to self-report potential cases of the virus in return for access to doctors who can give them a full diagnosis and prescribe medications to deal with the virus's side effects, received at least 250 requests for herpes medication per day during the music festival. Most of the requests came from the area of the festival itself and surrounding towns where many festival goers were staying during the event. An app spokesperson told a local CBS affiliate that the app typically receives no more than 12 cases per day. Keep in mind, we're talking about over 250 per day in this case, from the same general area. It says, according to the New York Post reporting, in all, 1,105 herpes cases were reported in the Coachella Valley area and in the nearby cities of Los Angeles and San Diego. The number is a record for Herp Alert. Congratulations, Herp Alert, by the way. The next largest number of claims in Los Angeles occurred the day of and the day after the Academy Awards. Come on, celebrities, you can do better. Back in February. Even then, though, Herp Alert received a grand total of only 60 inquiries. Interesting. So, I find this interesting, and I kind of compare this to the fact of the hippie generation, right? The free love 60s, 70s, and whatnot, where this free love spread around, have fun, like sex isn't a big thing for people. And it always comes back to the fact that when you have these shifts in culture, where you have people talking about free love and sex isn't anything that should be valued between people, that it's a fun recreational type activity, when you encounter those points in history, you actually see surrounding those types of events or historical time periods an increase in sexually transmitted diseases, and it gets spread around like crazy. I don't like to mention names or anything, but I've kind of mentioned a couple times on the show that I personally have a friend that has been in open relationships, and I know that there's STDs involved. And it's like, I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Like, it would be one thing if there wasn't a risk involved, right? And you didn't believe in God, religion, and everything else, and you didn't believe that, you were meant to share sexual experiences with one person, and you wanted to put all morals and ethics aside, and it was a risk-free type activity. But my word, if there is any STD involved and you're having open relationships and sleeping around and everything, you are a petri dish of disgusting diseases that you're spreading around society and potentially spreading to good people that will eventually end up with only one person, and you F up their life for the rest of their lives too. Like, if you're infected with an uncurable STD or something worse, or anything that you don't medically treat, keep it in your damn pants. It's disgusting what you guys are doing out there. Absolutely disgusting. This is according to Herp Alert. Patients fill out a series of questions about herpes symptoms for Herp Alert and provide a picture of a lesion or scar which appears on the genitals or around the mouth. Now, it's not known how many people were actually just sending dick pics for fun, right? This was according to Orange County Register. A physician then reviews the information, makes the diagnosis, and can prescribe medication within hours. Sometimes you just don't have hours, though, when you're trying to have a free love orgy in the middle of Coachella, right? So most of the cases are reported to Herp Alert with breakouts of the virus. The interaction costs users a flat fee of $79. Well, at least Herp Alert is actually making money with this, right? Capitalism wins again. So listen, we're going to come back and talk about a bunch more things, including a couple more entertainment topics that we have. We're going to get into some gun stories in regards to the shooting out of the school, as well as a firearm spotlight review. And we're going to get into a lot of political topics, including the Philadelphia representative who went off in an abortion clinic on pro-lifers. Stick around. We'll be right back after these commercial messages.